Hey everyone, welcome back to Why Aren't You? This is the anime episode. I think there are several different ways that I could organize this video. One of which is just a recommendation for anime fans that have yet to watch Attack on Titan, today's topic. Go watch Attack on Titan. You'll love it. Well, that one's done. Another way I could have talked about it was as a general give this a try thing to people that are familiar with the genre. Maybe you've seen a few episodes of Dragon Ball or Naruto or something like those. In which case, I think Attack on Titan might be one of those shows that'll live on in history amongst some of those previously mentioned big shows, despite having a much shorter episode length. But instead, I think the way I'll choose to talk about this is as an introduction to anime as a whole. There are some people out there that have a certain way of thinking about these Japanese cartoons, because the culture is a little bit different on this side of the world. In the US, probably like 80% of all animated content is specifically curated to kids. The bright colors and flashy lights are easy to look down on as a distraction for younger kids to get them to stop being annoying for a few hours. However, in Japan, it seems like the culture has that demographic a lot wider, so there are different kinds of things displayed in the show that would appeal more to an adult audience. Some of these things are easy to explain. For instance, High School of the Dead is a lot more sexual in nature compared to other shows. I think my favorite scene is that one where the girl dodges a bullet and it goes into bullet time and it flies through her boobs or something ridiculous like that. Some of them are less easy to explain, like Cowboy Bebop deals with a lot more serious drama, like drug addiction and trafficking and stuff like that. Naruto and Dragon Ball and other Toonami classics are usually filled with violence and swearing and all that jazz. Attack on Titan, though, is a little bit different. Mainly, it's because of shit like this. Attack on Titan is probably the most grotesquely violent show that I've ever seen in all my years of watching anime, or even TV for that matter. And I fucking love it. Most of the violence is over the top with the blood splatters and how the characters die. And most characters will die. You get attached to a character and it only takes a few episodes before, poof, they get eaten by a giant-ass human. But that's kind of what makes it great. It takes a lot of the anime bullshit that people have been dealing with for decades, like reviving dead characters or secret attack that nobody knew about until this exact moment, and just throws it right out the third-story window onto your neighbor's SUV. Attack on Titan is just fighting, just blood, just death. No redemptions. Attack on Titan follows Eren Yeager, a boy living in a civilization that is ravaged by the Titans, the giant humanoid monsters that attack and eat humans as sustenance. Eren's home city is separated into districts by 3 separate walls, and when one of those walls is broken one day, his mother is eaten right in front of his eyes. From this point on, the show follows Eren's exploits in the Scout Regiment of the Army, in which the team explores different areas outside the walls to destroy the Titans from the source. Throughout the show, it feels like the main through line of the plot changes every 4 or 5 episodes, so nothing gets stale and you're always on your toes. The show also falls down the rabbit hole of how the Titans got there in the first place, as well as Eren's relationship to them, and a whole lot of other world-building lore things that could cross into spoiler territory. Now, something interesting about the show goes back into destroying the tropes I talked about earlier. Usually anime and the manga it's based on are released pretty regularly, like weekly or monthly or something like that. The manga releases first, then the anime is produced once it picks up popularity. They'll keep running on a regular schedule until the manga wraps up, and then the anime catches up with it, and the story is over. But Attack on Titan is different. The creator of Attack on Titan, this name that I'm not even going to try to pronounce, would break up the chapters into months. It would take him about a week to storyboard everything, and then another 3 to 4 weeks to actually draw the art. This leads to a total of about 134 chapters of the manga, and I think fewer episodes of the anime just for crunching some things together. The anime also has a pretty interesting release schedule, at least compared to what I'm used to. Each season ranges from 12 to 22 episodes, and it doesn't even feel like there's much of a good place to cut off the season because how much can change episode to episode. The first season aired weekly starting in April of 2013 and aired until September. I'm not sure what factors led to this happening, but Season 2 wasn't aired even in Japan until April of 2017, 4 full years after Season 1. That's insane to me that some fans had to wait that long just for the story to continue, especially if they couldn't afford to pay for the manga chapters and everything. Like, that's insane. But after that, it seemed like they picked up a pretty regular schedule. Unfortunately, the show and manga are nearing their ends. The creator says he plans that the manga will be done by this April 2021, and the anime is currently airing its final season. It was a good run, but I'm glad that the show is ending now before it gets too long. Having a show with as short a run as this is usually better for everyone, as it's easier for people to recommend a 60-episode show compared to a 250-episode one. Alright, now for the why aren't you section, although I think this one is going to be stylized a little bit differently. This is an episode that'll hopefully serve as an intro to anime for some people, so instead of a why aren't you watching this, it's going to be more of a why this anime in particular. Because honestly, this can be a weird pick to start for someone's first delve into anime. The gore can be too much for some people, or the character's not interesting enough, or something like that. I took a poll on Twitter last month, and this is what people wanted to see, so I went with it. Now let's try to dissect some reasonings. Attack on Titan, like I stated before, is really short. Sure, Naruto and Dragon Ball might have good all-around story, and are probably pretty accessible and more tame for modern audiences. But the problem I have with introducing them is that they're too damn long. Dragon Ball has one season where there's like 25 episodes that are the same fight because the anime had caught up with the manga too quickly and the animators didn't know what to do, so they just kind of guessed and stalled for a couple episodes. Imagine watching 25 episodes, each counted at 22 minutes, and nothing happens in them. Like, I can't recommend that to anybody. Another reason is that the action is still interesting to watch, and enough changes regularly so that it keeps you on your toes. Another popular pick for first anime to watch is Cowboy Bebop, which is highly regarded as one of the best anime of all time. And it's really fucking good, don't get me wrong. Problem is that it can be kinda boring at times. It's one of those shows where you have to sit down and listen to all the dialogue and pay attention to body language and all that, and that's not what I watch anime for. I want to watch little guy punch the shit out of big guy. Attack on Titan also isn't my number one favorite anime. My favorite spot goes to One Piece, but the reason I didn't choose that is because it's way too long. Like, even longer compared to when I said those other two shows were too long. One Piece just celebrated a milestone manga chapter. Chapter 1000. One Piece has been going on weekly for 25 years, and there's over 950 episodes of anime to catch up on. I love that show with all my heart. I love the characters, I love the different battles and the journeys they all have, but I would never subject someone to that pure length of a series unless they were really committed, quit their job for 3 months, and sat down and watched it. I did the math earlier today, and I think, totaling it all together, I think if you sat down without bathroom breaks and watched it straight through, it would take 14 days. What? I would never outright suggest that to anybody. If you want to do it, then that's fine, but like, keep in mind, it took me 8 years to get around to catching up to where I am now. Like, it's not for everybody, it's not for the faint of heart. But more importantly than all of that, when I first started watching it, I actually tried it out with my girlfriend at the time, and she had never been into anime and wanted to watch something I'd never seen before. That way, I wouldn't do the, oh, don't get too attached to da-da-da-da-da, hee, that some people do that, and that drives me up a fucking wall. And she and I both really loved the show. We ended up binging it all the way through to the 3rd season before the dub came out, and she wanted to try it with subtitles, and she was fine with it from what I remember. It's a proven anime that just fits to have it as your first one. Some other things that I had to consider were the quality of the English voice acting, in case anyone wanted to watch it with the English audio instead of having to read subtitles. Having animation from this era, because some of the animation from the 90s and early 2000s isn't amazing. And accessibility, so that the average Joe could binge the series if they wanted, and many other factors. Attack on Titan is available on Hulu. The first 3 seasons have every episode available in its native Japanese with English subtitles, as well as a re-edit of the show dubbed over with English audio. All around, I think that Attack on Titan is just a good way to introduce yourself into the idea of anime. If you can make it through Attack on Titan and like what you see, there are thousands of other properties you could sink your teeth into that are just as good. But I think that's all the anime ranting I can do today. Thank you guys for sticking around for this one. I have a feeling a lot of my usual audience is already a fan of anime. as well as an Attack on Titan stan, but if you stick around to the end and you don't watch anime, let me know down in the comments. I'd like to see if I change anyone's mind on anything. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram to get updates on videos and scripts and other projects I might be working on. Subscribe to this channel so you can keep getting my videos. Like the video to let me know you liked it, and feel free to check out some of my other Why Aren't You videos. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you on the next one.